What's up, guys? Welcome back to another, well, I guess this is not a video, but in today's kind of video, I want to highlight one of the Mastermind and Accelerator students. This is Neato from the Accelerator and Mastermind. If you guys are in the Accelerator and Mastermind, you have seen him around. He's a familiar face. He's someone that is super, super active in the community. He actually just got promoted to being the head moderator in the Accelerator community as well. So he's definitely someone that's a vital role in the community. In today's video, I just want to go through his kind of journey as a trader and show you that, obviously you guys have seen my journey, you guys have seen J-Dub's journey, but, to show you someone that's a real person that's actually seen results and kind of how they've got here and how their trading journey's been. So with that being said, welcome Neato to the video and to the interview.
Thank you very much, Danny. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like I said, Neato's a very pivotal part in our community now. He's super active. Like, if I promise you, if you've been in the Accelerator Mastermind, you've seen Neato 100%. So with that being said, what I'm gonna ask Neato is, how did you kind of start your journey, and how did you kind of start trading and even get into trading?
All right. My trading career for saying, I started stock trading like a decade ago. I started learning a little bit about market structure, supply demand, support resistance. But I actually started on October 2022 my journey on options. I started with a group that they taught me everything about how to execute on Webull. I started with a very simple strategy with SPY, uh, 5 minute charge for resistance. All the basics. It was great. It actually was a super great start of my options trading career because they taught me a lot about risk management. And well, I'm a true believer of trading. It's about defense.
Mm-hmm.
So if you survive one day and you are here next day, I mean that's half of the job, right? So they taught me a lot of about risk management. It was great. And when I started looking for other strategies to add to my tool belt, I went to other group. These guys were amazing traders. They do a lot of trades every day with the different tickers. And they do a lot of strategies: bounces, rejections, breakouts, reversals. They do a lot of stuff. But they are good traders, not so good teachers. So they explain what they do on live, but the education was kind of on your own, trying to figure out how they did it. Uh, so I started developing my strategy. I was for several months trading previous session range breakouts. It's basically drawing my pre-market levels, and once the market opens, if it breaks out, if it break out to whatever side, I was just trying to catch the breakout. And I started having some consistency. I had some home runs. I'm not gonna lie. I was super happy with my home runs. But the problem with my strategy was that I couldn't find where to cut my losers. So sometimes I had some huge home runs, but when I was in a losing trade, it was like a horrible trade, right? Like 60% drawdown, super ugly. So it was uh, punching my account value, but also was kind of punching my morale, because I was feeling like this trading thing wasn't for me because I was struggling too much. And sometimes when I won, I was like, oh, probably this was just lucky because I mean, I did everything what I said, what I planned to do. But I'm not sure if this is actually because my skills, right? So I was kind of, you know, low on morale, and I run into one of your videos. It was very similar strategy about the pre-market levels, but instead of the breakout, it was the break and retest. It made all of the sense for me, and I was kind of disappointed of me on why I never think about this. I mean, this makes sense in all ways, right? So I started following your videos when I saw that you had a community in a Discord. I took it. I joined at the end of May of this year. Um, uh, the first weekend, I watched twice the whole accelerator course. I was super excited because everything was like falling together. Like okay, well, this was missing on my strategy, so this has to work. So I started back testing and everything. And when you offered the mastermind, I was like, I'm already here, and the investment. I mean, it's some money, but it's super valuable. I want to do this for my main job, for my main income, and also I was challenging me, right? Like I can do this. Uh, so I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna take the mastermind. So when I went to the mastermind, uh, it was a crazy thing. It was a crazy thing because I started watching every session and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was completely lost. This is making all sense. And suddenly my trading journey started improving, but like crazy improving. Like uh, we are we are going through my trades in a moment.
We'll talk about the numbers
But
in a bit. We'll talk about the numbers in a bit.
yeah, we will talk about it. But when I started using the breaker with the strategy, it was like, oh my gosh! I mean, my consistency, it's going to the sky. My win rate is going to the sky, and also if a trade is not working, I know exactly where to cut it. So my losses started to be it started being super small, and my wins were like completely bigger than previously because I already had new key levels. I already have some understanding of the price action, especially on the lesson that I like the most on the course is the liquidity
Uh-huh.
lesson. Uh, that lesson changed everything for me. I mean, the whole mastermind cost is worth just because that lesson.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt. So I really felt that this was like going easier and easier and easier with all the information that I was receiving. I started sharing with the community. My peers on the community were super supportive. They were sharing a lot the I mean the good side of the trading and also their mistakes. So I was kind of learning on their own on their mistakes. So I wasn't losing money, but I was taking the lesson. So the community was amazing. And for being honest, Tony and Jack, I mean, you guys rock. You are the best teachers I know on the industry. And I've seen like 1,000 videos of different guys. You guys really have this sense of everything you say, the background of whatever is happening on the chart. So, for being honest, learning from you guys was very easy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I think your journey kind of will resonate with people as well. Definitely people watching this because you kind of start off kind of like it's kind of like how I explained in one of my videos previously, where even my journey was kind of the same, where you kind of start off in trading and then you make a little bit of money and then you start joining like a bunch of different groups. You join, you kind of jump from strategy to strategy. Like literally, I think it's the prime example, and that's why I wanted to have you on this call today of the trader's journey, right? Like because even for myself, when I first started, I was jumping from, a Discord to another mentorship to, maybe I trade the breakout, maybe I trade pullbacks, maybe I trade reversals. Like I was doing the same thing, right? And I think everyone kind of starts off with that, but then once you get that right, I would say strategy along with teacher and community, that's where you can kind of grow within that community as well, right? And I think that's a huge factor. But with that being said, I know we talked about we're going to look at some of your trades and your performance, because before we get into your performance, actually, let's talk about how your performance kind of went before we share the screen. At least let's talk about how your performance kind of changed from before and after. So what would you say your performance kind of changed before and after the program?
Well, the my cons. Well, I'm thinking. I think the most important thing is that I stopped taking a lot of trades every day. I focused on one strategy, on a few setups. I narrowed down my tickers that I was watching. So I was laser focused on just a few tickers and QQQ, right? So the first thing that happened with me is that I stopped taking like 10 trades a day. I was that kind of guy, taking a lot of trades. Like, I mean, a 4 trade day was like, oh, well, this was an easy day, right? Like, and so I started taking just 1 or 2 trades with trying to have only A+ setups because I was super focused on a few tickers and I was looking for a singular thing. I wasn't looking for several stuff to happen. I was just looking for one thing to happen. So that 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 was one of the most important things because we are gonna look at my trade cella, at my journal, and you will see that the days that I lost the most was the days that I took the most trades. So I stopped doing that. I started focusing on in a few tickers, only one setup, and that changed a lot. And the other thing is that I had I always say like plan the trade, trade the plan. But for being honest, before the break and retest started, it was kind of hard to identify where to stop or where to take my profits, right? Because that's the other thing. I was struggling with acknowledging that my trade failed, but also I was struggling with the grid, where it's gonna be a good point to take profit. So the most frustration that I ever felt was a trade that went 100% and ended red because I never took profits. And that was even worse than the worst of my trade that, I mean, that turned to not working, right? But the grid associated to that trade that went monster trade and then turned red, wow, I mean, that destroyed me for days.
Yeah.
I remember. So I stopped taking too much trades. I was focusing on just one setup. I was focusing on just a few tickers, not 20 tickers, just a few of them. Um, and I started knowing where to stop and where to take profits. And if also, one of the most important things that I learned on the mastermind was how to scale out. Wow, that because with the break and retest strategy, it's super easy to have a strategy even for taking profits. So that was one of my changes, and it helped me to have realized profits and to manage pullbacks, or even if the trade went against me, I already had some profits to to manage the trade. So everything went easier for being honest. Everything went easier for me on trading.
For sure. I think, yeah, I think one of the main things, like you said, was the consistency came from focusing on I think that was one of the main things, one of the main differences for I think you and a lot of traders, even for me. I think one of the main things was when I used to trade back in the day, I used to, like yourself, have 10 50, I could show you, I have some videos on my, just my Snapchat memories or whatever back in the day, where it was like it was AMD, and you couldn't even see the AMD. Like if you trade on Interactive Brokers, because it does those arrows. I don't know if have you seen those arrows, right? It shows you where you buy and sell. You couldn't even see the chart because there were so many arrows that you couldn't see the chart. I was buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, and I had like 150 trades in a day, like on just one ticker. So I think for me, and you've seen it as well with the live trading, I trade one trade a day. Some days I won't even take a trade. Some days I'll maybe take two trades. Like I don't think I've taken over two trades, and I couldn't even tell you how long. And that's really comes down to the fact of being able to focus in on the one trade that you want to focus in on, right? Because every day, like pre-market, even, right? Like me or Jack will talk about like, hey, this is like the one setup. Like you're obviously in those pre-market webinars as well. Well, he'll talk about like this is the setup that you kind of want to look for, and he'll give you a couple different examples, and you can kind of focus in on one or whatever, right? And I think that's something that I do as well. I just kind of do it, during the live voice. I'll kind of explain that. But that's something that really helps, right? Because now you have a plan going into the day. Like you said, right? You plan the trade, then trade the plan. So you plan the trade pre-market, and then you trade the plan. Now, obviously, sometimes you may have a bullish kind of thesis, and sometimes the trade, like the whole market may go, red on you. But that's a good thing I think about the strategy and the system, where you can switch it up. Like it's not like, you're like shackled down into that one. You have to go long. You have that bias. Like you can look at the price action, look at the correlation of QQ, like we talk about, and then kind of gauge where you want to go from there, right? And I think that's really important as well. So with that being said, now we kind of got a little bit more insight on your journey and your performance. Let's start looking at some stats. I'm sure people are excited to see the stats that you want to share. So if you want to share your screen real quick. If you, yeah, so this is going to be, he's just going to go through his TradeZilla here and his trading performance. And you can kind of just guide me through what you think is the most important parts to kind of look at here.
Well, this is my year-to-date journal. The reason it started this January, it's because I changed accounts. But I mean, this year is the most important on my trading journey, and also, the previous years has it's not relevant. But this is from starting from January the 1st this year. So from year to date, these are my profits: $168,000.
Insane. I just
Uh,
before you even get that is insane, by the way. I just want to congratulate you. Insane.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But the funny thing about this is that kind of half of it, or more than half of it, it's from June to now, meaning from where I started the mastermind to today.
Yeah.
So I want to show you. I want to show you about consistency. So this was my January. As you can see, not sure if you can watch it, but it said 7 trades,
Yeah.
6 trades, 6 trades, 5 trades, 5 trades, 7 trades, 7 trades. So I was, fishing everywhere, trying to accomplish something. Um, Funny or not, January was actually profitable. uh, Almost $14,000. But again, I was having some home runs, but when I was losing big. This day was 10,000. Look at this. Only one win of $200, and all the others were losses. So this is the kind of trader I was in January. I mean, I was trying to make it work desperately, but because I was trying so hard, uh, I don't know. I was blinded to focus on the important things, right? So this was January. I had 7 losses. I had some profit. that I mean, that's important to me because I'm trying to get money for my home,
Exactly. Yeah.
but I wasn't the best trader. So I was failing as a trader even when I was making some money. So we go to February. February was a lower month, and it was because look at this. I mean, I was making $1,000, $2,500, but when I was losing 12K.
Yeah.
I couldn't cut it. I was very indisciplined, and I didn't have a established plan for cutting my trades. So
And you can see the. I just want to say on that $12,000 day, you can see the time duration of those trades as well. And those were I saw that one trade was like 2 hours long. You held it for 2 hours, right? So I think
yeah,
that's something where now I don't think unless you're swing trading, you're not holding anything for 2 hours. I don't think.
no, not even remotely close. So March, let's take a look to March, lower month, and I was close to give up.
Mhm.
For being honest, I took this week as a timeout to reflect, to trying to identify if it was me, if it was the market. I was trying to make excuses, and I was very close to give up here. And look at this, even with a green month, right? Because I knew that green is not success. I needed to become a good trader and not only making a little bit money. Because also, I mean, this money for me is not enough. I have a family. I have my own commitments. It was not enough for me. So I was trying to do something different. So I'm gonna jump to May. May was the last month prior to join the mastermind or the Scarface Trades community. It was the same thing, very inconsistent, big losses, small wins. Even when I made a little bit money, uh, I knew that this wasn't okay. So this what is coming is the good thing. This is June. So I joined the Scarface Trades community the last week of May. I watched everything on the first weekend that I joined, and I tried to apply everything. And I was like, okay, this is my very last chance to do this with some help. If I can make it work properly, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
So this is June. As you can see, this was an amazing month. 20K, small losses, big wins, consistency. I even took some days. I don't remember why I took some days, but uh, I wasn't. I wasn't forcing my trades. I wasn't looking for trade every day. I mean, my mindset started changing. So this was June.
I
Take a
think
look
one thing
to
I was just going to say one thing we can also take a note here. I think which is important because everyone looks at the profits and it's great that obviously the profits are high, but if we look at the profit factor for you as well, the jump in profit factor from before and after, you can see a 4.2 up there or 4.19 profit factor where I've been looking at them for the last couple of months. March was like a 1.23, January was like a 1.5. So I think that profit factor jump is something because your win rate has always kind of been around that 50 to 60% range. June was obviously a little bit higher, but your win rate's always been the same, but your profit factors would jumped up for you to get this this new kind of result, right? And that's just something that I noticed that I just kind of wanted to talk about as well.
And something really important, Tony, is if you can take a look, it's one trade, one trade, one trade, three trades, two
Mm-hmm.
trades, one trade, two trades. So I started trying one trade with the team and one trade on my own. So even even when I was trying something alone, it was working. So as you can see, I stepped down on the number of trades that I was taking, and my mind was calmer and clearer, and my mindset started to change. So this was June, and this was July. Better months.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So better months. Even when I had two losses, this one was a huge loss, and it was because the previous Friday I won big, so I got cocky next week, and market made me humble on Tuesday. So I kind of uh, redo everything that was right and working. So this was an amazing month. Uh, just as I said, I mean, there was a day when I lost big, uh, and this was my month when I figured out that the strategy was working perfectly. The tickers that I was looking at, I started to know their character, how they move, how they respect the key level. So that's something like really important to focus on a few tickers so you get to know them and not looking at the whole market trying to ride every move, right? Like so I was focusing way more, and this is August. It's going
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, no, August is
Even
insane.
when I started the month, yeah, I started the month badly. Well, it was just the market, but I mean, something that I want to clarify is that I started to size up this month, uh, but I was applying the same strategy, right? So even when I started with a few losses, my confidence was rising, increasing, and I had one of the most amazing day trades ever that I had. I had I'm not sure why it is recorded like this, but this August the 15th was almost $40,000 swing trade. It was an Amazon trade that I was preparing from the weekend, and I took it on the Wednesday, and it worked perfectly on Thursday. So it was an amazing trade. I shared my ideas and my position with the community. They actually added a few ideas on it, and I took them. I managed my trade according to what I was thinking it was the best. So I had my best trading day this month, and well, as you can see, I mean, my consistency and my profits and my number of trades taken every day, my focus on a certain tickers, everything has changed and switched since I joined the community, but especially the mastermind. The mastermind brought me all the glue that I needed to put all my pieces together. So this is August. Today was a great day. I only took one trade, a Tesla trade. It was very similar to the one that the team took. Uh, I was small because I I kind of lost a position yesterday, and so I was I don't know trying to go easy, but it went really well. So
Mhm.
this is my August, and this is my whole year, right? So everything is, as you can see, from inconsistency to several trades a day to 100 different tickers traded to a single strategy with laser focus on a few tickers, being very discipline in my time of trading, in my number of trades. So everything changed. Everything changed, and here we are. I'm having the very best month on my trading career, and looking forward to have even better months on the future.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I think really visualizing going through the whole year was something that I think can help a lot of people out because obviously we saw from January to August. Now, obviously you were consistently consistent throughout the whole thing, and you kind of knew what to do, but it was just that implementation, and that's kind of what I tell people as well. It's the fact that you know what to do, like you've learned it, like you don't need to learn it again, but you need someone maybe to help you implement what you've learned, right? And that's the main thing, implementing it, though may that be live, may that through be live sessions, whatever that is, right? It's the implementation that's really going to get you to that next level of your consistency in trading. And obviously we can see that daily net cumulative P&L kind of skyrocket there for you as well. Those results are absolutely fantastic. And one thing I will also say is Neato does post his daily profits and loss in the both programs, actually Accelerator and Mastermind. I see you posting them just like me. I kind of have to do both as well. So I see you posting them in both as well. So which is good because it shows the transparency. When you lose, you post them. When you win, you post them. And that's good because I think a lot of people will see these numbers and they'll be like, wow, like this is awesome. Like let me try to replicate it. But what I do want to say, 100% is, Nito's results made as good, as they are. He had to work for them. And like he said, he's been trading for a little while, but it was that implementation that he wasn't getting. And once he got that, you can see that kind of brought him to the next level. And he's absolutely killing it. Now, one question I have for you, or yeah, actually, one question I do have for you is, out of your whole career now, right? You've had this obviously a fantastic career so far. Obviously, this is the beginning of the next step, I would say, in your journey. What are three things that you would say that to a brand new trader that would you think would help them the most? The three main important things that you've learned so far.
Well, it's gonna sound like a cliche, but focus on risk, right? I mean, focus on learning, focus on risk at the very beginning until you find your edge, until you find that whatever you're doing works. Uh, I see a lot of people trying to bring their big pockets to trading and saying, okay, well, I'm gonna add to my account. I'm gonna add to my account. And the first thing they should do is work on their strategy, make it work, uh, looking for consistency. Because for being honest, my first year I lost a lot of money. So I'm green on my career now, but that happened a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
The first year was horrible. My first year was I was avoiding risk management. I was breaking all my rules. So and I think that's another thing like really important. You need to find your big why. I mean, you need to find why you are doing this, wherever it is, if it's to provide to your family, if it is to get your dreams house, if it is to retire your parents. I mean, you need to find a reason to do this because it's gonna guide you through the path, and that will make it easier to have some rules and to actually follow that rules. And that's something that I did. I mean, when I was looking at my trading, I started like trying to look at, okay, well, I need to provide to my family. So I was kind of watching their faces on my screen, and I was like, okay, well, I can't give up because I need to do something for them. I need to provide for them. I want to give them the best, right? The best house, the best vacations, the best schools, the best cars. I mean, I want to provide for them, and never to be worried about uh, having enough to pay rent next month, or all that stuff, right? And the third thing, I think, uh, something that I really love about this community, Tony, and I'm telling you in total transparency, is that all of us are focused on the same strategy. So we are not having opinions on different tickers, on different strategies, or the bounds, or the news, or no, no, no. We are all of us looking at the same thing. So it's super easy to share tips and tricks. It's super easy to take the lesson from others' mistakes. and it's super easy also, and that is something that I'm really enjoying right now, to help others. And when you start helping others, you are also learning from them. I mean, I already have a very good picture of what we are doing with the strategy and everything. But every time I get to explain something to one of my peers, to one of the community members, it's like, okay, well, I need to prepare more so I can provide value. I can provide a good answer to them. So as you can see, I'm very active on the community, and it is because uh, I find joy sharing and helping my friends and my peers, but it's also because it's pushing me to learn more and to be more prepared, and that is gonna work for my own journey, but it's also working for others because I can help them easier and better.
I think just to add on to your last point, one of the things for me is like on YouTube, for example, or when I post a YouTube video or in the mastermind or accelerator, obviously I know all the concepts, but sometimes I'll forget one thing, right? Like it's like you just kind of like, for example, like if I'm talking about, like you mentioned before, if I'm talking about market structure, right? I know how to read market structure when I'm looking at the chart and I know what I'm doing in the back of my head, but sometimes it's like I kind of forget why I'm doing it. It's just kind of like second nature. I'm just like, okay, yeah, like I'm doing like this is a higher low, so I'm gonna enter in here. But it's second nature to me, right? But for some people, it's like when I have to explain it to somebody, I'm like, oh, I remember why it works now because knowing why like how to do it and why to do it is, or sorry, knowing how to do it and when to do it is important, but knowing why it works is the main thing, right? Like a lot of people, like if you ask them, for example, like explain your strategy in like 4 sentences, they can't do it because they don't know, it's too complicated. They don't know what it is. Like for us, it's just like, oh, we trade break and retest. Momentum, right? On the higher time frame, we're just looking for a breakout, and then on the lower time frame, we're just trading break and retest. Like it's pretty simple. Like we can explain in like 4 sentences. But for a lot of people, if you go and ask them, like they can't do that for you, right? Even if I asked you probably like 5 months ago, like what do you like? How do you actually trade? Like it would take you a while because I'm like, okay, like you didn't tell me like where are you taking your profits, where are you stopping out, right? Like so that defining all those variables in trading, I think is really really important. But yeah, with that being said, I want to thank you for coming on. This was I think this was a really really fantastic interview. It was filled with a lot of value too. I think you did a great job providing the value aspect as well, yeah, and along with telling your story. But I think you provided value in terms of kind of how it traded because I've obviously talked about this, but I think with you it's like more of a people that watch this video will have a better, closer understanding because you're just someone like that kind of kind of started like them and now obviously now the results that you're having are absolutely insane. So I think the value that you provided was absolutely fantastic. Do you have any last words or anything like that that you want to say before we end off?
No, thank you, Tania. I only have gratitude for the opportunity of learning from you, from Jack, and also this opportunity to serve my peers as a moderator of the community.
I appreciate that. No, you've been absolutely killing it, man. But yeah, with that being said, that was Neato, guys. He was in both the mastermind and the accelerator. I hope you guys got some value out of this interview, and I will catch you guys next time.